What's going on, everyone? We got breaking news. This is crazy. So, Melissa Berrara is dropped from Scream 7 after social media post amid Israel Hamas war. So, Melissa Berrara has been fired over a recent post that she posted. I don't want to go too much into all of the political aspects of this just because, that's not what this channel is about. But that is just very shocking that happened. What does Scream 7 do now? I mean, Melissa Berrara was the girl, right? She was the new Sidney Focused, right? She was the primary character. This was supposed to be very likely the conclusion of a trilogy, and now you're not going to have your lead in this. I understand the idea of like, hey, you want to distance yourself from any of those conflicts just because, you're alienating one side or the other, and then you're interjecting this just chaos into your movie and running the risk of your movie potentially failing, so on and so forth. I get those implications, but like, where does Scream 7 go? They had plans of like shooting early next year, trying to get this movie out ASAP, and now I imagine they're gonna have to rewrite this entire film, go about this entire film completely different. My guess is that, they'll hopefully make it more like generalized, I guess. I could see them definitely kind of putting Tara into the spotlight. Maybe this is more of a Tara focused film. But how do you explain Melissa? Right? Like, how do you explain Sam Carpenter? Like, are they going to kill her off camera? Are they going to like move her to, a safe place? Is she going to be, visiting some island somewhere, right? With maybe Danny? Like, I don't know. Like, that is so bizarre. Now, I do think if they do make this a more Tara-focused film with Jenna Ortega, she's, kind of like the Hollywood darling at the moment. She's the bigger name, right? I do think that you'll still get a huge draw. A lot of people really wanted to see Jenna Ortega at some point anyway, kind of take over. People were calling for it in Scream 6, right? Now, part of that was just the poor writing, I believe, in Scream 5, and just the way that Melissa Berrara's character of Sam was portrayed, right? A lot of people were really down on Melissa and the character of Sam. In Scream 6, a lot of people really came around to her. A lot of people really liked Sam and just the portrayal of Sam by the actress Melissa. But Jenna Ortega, she continues to shine. She continues to stand out. She's got the Wednesday 2 movie. She's becoming a big name. And so my guess is that this will be a very Jenna Ortega driven film. I think that that's probably the best direction in which they'll go. Now, obviously, Sidney Prescott, if she returns, right? There's a lot of rumors, a lot of speculation that Neve Campbell is back. A lot of people really believe that, like, she's already signed on. She's already ready to go. If that's the case, then my guess is that they'll go and make it a Sidney-focused film, right? And they'll kind of have this be, like, the conclusion of, like, the Billy arc, right? So instead of everything tying into Sam, it'll be full circle tied in to Sidney Prescott, right? And I'm sure a lot of people would like that. I've talked about how, like, hey, if you're going to have Sidney in your film, I don't think I mean, I didn't necessarily want her to be the main focus, right? I don't want like a rehash of old films. I kind of want them to continue in a new direction. But now you kind of don't have a choice, right? Now it's like your safest bet would be to make it a Sidney Prescott led film. But I wanted her to kind of have a significant role. Like, I didn't want Sidney to be a background character, basically, right? Or even like what she was in Scream 5. Like, I felt Scream 5, Sidney Prescott, she was just kind of there, right? There was no like real significance why she was there, right? So now my guess is that the story will fully tie into her. You'll probably have Tara as another main focus. And I would, if it was me, kind of make this a Tara, Sidney, heavy derivative type film and lean into that heavily. So you have Tara Carpenter, you got, the problem is then again, like, I default back to like, how do you explain Sam, right? Because like, if they filmed some scenes, right, and or like they were in the middle of filming, right? Maybe you could like pay her real quick just to like film like a death scene or something, and then have her like that's how like, maybe that's the opening scene, right? And you throw everyone for a loop, right? And like, oh man, they just took out Sam, right? Like that could have been something in a direction that they could have went, but now like they haven't even done the filming, they haven't done anything, right? So like, what? Sam's just gonna be out there in the ether? Are you gonna kill her off screen? Right? Do you get like a body double or like a stand-in to come in and like, kill that off? I more likely than not what they're going to do is they're just going to have some simple explanation. My guess is that Danny won't be in this movie, right? Because you do have like a relatively clean cut, right? You do have at the end of Scream 6, the whole idea was that Tara would finally be free. That Sam would let Tara go live her life and be independent and be by herself, and then you had the symbolism of like Sam kind of letting go. She drops the mask, her and Tara kind of walk off into the sunset. So I do think you can get away with like, hey, Sam went off to whatever, right? She's exploring Europe right now. Right, she just wanted to get away from everything. She just wanted to kind of enjoy life. I wanted the freedom. I wanted to kind of go do my own thing. I wanted to live my own life, and now that's what I get to do. Now I am living my best life while Sam is in Europe or whatever. And then boom, Ghostface shows up. Ghostface starts attacking everybody. Sidney ends up getting involved. But even then, it's like Sam would have dropped everything to come immediately to Tara. Like, she would have walked to wherever this movie takes place. If it's New York again, wherever, right? Like, this movie, like, she would have dropped everything. So, you're going to have to really lean heavily into story development of characters like Chad and Mindy. Maybe you bring Kirby back, right? You're going to have to lean heavily into Sidney, right? You're going to have to tell a very good story. You're going to have to tell and build very good characters in this movie. And you're going to I really think you're going to have to build this on the back of Tara and Sidney. I think that that's what you're going to have to do. I think that's the only way that you're actually going to have success in this film. And you have this little bit, I guess you have this bit of like a write-off of like, hey, Tara, you have a bit of dialogue maybe early on, hey, we're like, hey, have you talked to Sam? Oh, no, I haven't been able to get in contact with her. She's in Europe right now, or wherever, right? She's in Europe right now. We'll just use that as an example. And currently, she's like out of cell service or whatever. She's like she's doing like, what are those isolation retreats? Maybe that would be a good explanation, right? Like, she's on an isolation retreat, no phones, no nothing, right? Like, she's spending a week in isolation, just by herself, trying to clear her mind, trying to get herself right, maybe that'll be a dedicated video to kind of explain Melissa's departure. Because again, like, what else do you do? Do you really kill her off camera? Right? I mean, you could, and that may end up being what they do, because then you're just going to have this looming thought, right? Because the stories have all tied into Sam. Like, everything is about Sam, right? Like, now you just lost your lead character. And look, that's usually a death sentence for franchises and films and TV shows and everything. When you have to let go of your main character, right? My guess is that they're looking at it as, you know what? Like, we have Jenna Ortega and we have Sidney. Assuming Neve Campbell's back, my guess is that they believe, okay, we have Tara and we have Sidney, and that'll be enough to draw in the crowds. We kind of make this more of a Sidney-focused film, right? Which would still make sense. You'd still be able to tie in because Sam is Billy's daughter and all that stuff, right? Like, so you could have these like full circle moments. You could have all the tie-ins. You could have all the films make sense if you connect it to Sidney, right? Now, if Neve isn't in this film, I think this film is a total disaster. Like, if Neve isn't in this film, you're going to have to pay Neve Campbell whatever she wants. Like literally, you're going to have to give her the farm to make sure she is in this film, because if she's not, I don't see this film having any success. Because now, like, what story? Yes, you can build a story around Tara, but you're basically doing a whole new movie. And look, I have talked about this in the past, and again, this might be another video I'm going to have to make. I think that they just hit the reset button. Forget bringing back Tara, forget bringing back Chad, forget bringing back everybody. Just let it go. Scream 6, you can argue, had a conclusive ending, right? Scream 6 was all about, Sam and Tara. They had their little feud. They finally overcame it. Tara is now riding off in the sunset. She gets to go and do her thing and live her life and be an adult, right? Sam gets to go and do her thing and all that stuff. And that's the direction that I would go, and just start fresh. Just give us a fresh new movie, new cast, new everything, and build from there. I think that that's the best approach, and I think that that's the approach in which Scream should do. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the other options are. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What did you think of this? Is this huge? Are you like shocked? Whatever you think. I love to hear it, because I'm in shock. Right? That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. See you all in the next one. Thank you.